Alrighty, we are now recording. Welcome everybody to today's session of new project updates, Mangrove Bay, located here on Ambergris Caye, Belize. My name is Rachel Jensen, broker owner of Luna Realty Belize. For those of you who don't know me, I'm originally from New York, made my way down to Latin America about 11 years ago, and ultimately decided to call Ambergris Caye, Belize home. It's where I'm currently based. I absolutely love it here. I think it's a wonderful lifestyle, amazing people, really colorful culture, and there's just so much about this culture and this location that it really does feel like home here. So if anybody has any questions about the lifestyle aspect, feel free to reach out to me separately. I'm happy to have that conversation with you too, to know what it's like to live here. Definitely takes a little bit of adapting to things. As the people who were on earlier heard me mention, is today was supposed to be furniture delivery day for our office furniture. Send them a message, hey, where are you guys? What time are you gonna get there? Get a message back, oh, there was a little delay, we'll have it done next week. So just part of the quirks of living here, you do tend to get used to it. I'd say the best piece of advice I have is always just have something that can keep you busy, whether it's a book or your computer or emails or whatever you enjoy doing to spend your time, but don't let that stuff get in the way. So we're going to just jump right in here to the Mangrove Bay session. I'm going to guess it'll be about 18 minutes of information. As you have any questions, feel free to type it there into the Q&A section. We'll get those answered afterwards. Otherwise, you'll also see my email address at the bottom, info@Luna Realty Belize, info@lunarealtybelize.com. Feel free to reach out as you have any other questions. Perhaps you're listening to this afterwards. This will get put up on YouTube. So for anybody who's listening after, do note that the information being shared is at the time of our live webinar recording, which is 2 o'clock local time here in Belize. So we're currently on Central Time on, what is today's date? I don't even know. Today's the 17th of February, 2023. All right, so with that, we're going to just jump right in. Ambergris Caye, Belize is the largest key off of the coast of Belize mainland. There are 2 ways to get here: by puddle jumper, which is about 15 minutes, or by boat. Boat's about an hour and a half from Belize City. I have a whole session on Ambergris Caye if anybody wants more information about this island specifically, but just to help you get a little bit more clarity about where it is we are talking to you from. And on Ambergris Caye, there are different neighborhoods, and one of the most desirable is called Tres Cocos. We often refer to it as the Beverly Hills of Ambergris Caye because it's located close enough to the heart of the downtown area, about 3/4 of a mile, right over the bridge there. There's the bridge going north, which is right over here, and it's located in this area. This is all considered the Tres Cocos area. You tend to find a lot of the larger single family homes. You do tend to find nicer hotels in this area too. So it is really quite well known as being more high-end, more upscale. Now we are located, I mentioned to you, about 3/4 mile north of this Mangrove Bay property. There's a lot around. I'm going to go through a map with you in just a moment there, but it's a highly desirable spot because it is out of the heart of the downtown area, but yet it's close enough that you have amenities, you have restaurants, bars around you, and you could also just hop back over the bridge and be in the heart of downtown in about 5 minutes. So we are on public electricity here, and there's also on this specific project, it's a reverse osmosis system and RO system for water. Once you get north of the bridge, there's no public water. So all of the places do tend to have their own RO systems, water catchment systems. Some have wells. It just depends where on the island they're located. So this is not uncommon, but just wanted to share with you the type of water system that there is going to be at this property here. So once you get into the Tres Cocos area, this is just a few of the many things around, but I'm going to just point out, start here at letter A. So down at the bottom part of the screen, letter A, this is the bridge. This is all part of Ambergris Caye, but once you go over the bridge, people say you're north. And even though the north part of Ambergris Caye is about 15, 18, 19 miles, all of that is considered the north part of Ambergris. So once you go over that bridge, you are north. I know a lot of times people ask about grocery stores. Where can they pick up produce? Where can they pick up groceries? And if you are looking at reference here to Mangrove Bay, Mangrove Bay is letter F over here. And then Village Supermarket, they bring in incredible groceries. I say incredible because they bring in a lot of North American standard products that we like to enjoy. And that's located like a 2-minute drive, 3-minute drive from the location of this property here. I did have a fellow reach out to me and be like, oh, wow, it really looks like the project is far from everything. I think it's all about, perspective of how you're looking at the map, but this is probably, and I mentioned it before, the most desirable part of the island because of the proximity and because of what's around. In addition to that, you'll see a lot of these letters. C, that is the doghouse, that's a sports bar. D, that's Crocs, that's a sports bar as well. It's a beautiful 3-story restaurant. Then there's also E, which is a boutique hotel, adult only taco bar. It's across the street from Mangrove Bay. As you're continuing on, there's an over the water restaurant called Rum Dog, Marbucks, which is the play on Starbucks, but they have great brunches there. Trek Stop, which is a container restaurant. They have 3 or 4 different vendors there, different restaurants, and then J as well, which is Aqua Yoga and Eco Resort. So this is just a highlight of some of the things that are around. Quite a lot though, but this is really one of the only projects right now that is of this caliber in terms of quality construction, modern, happening in the Tres Cocos area. It's very difficult to find larger tracts of land where you can build because it's just all getting bought up left and right. So the fact that they were able to acquire this property a couple years ago is really quite remarkable. But just honing in a little bit more on the location. So we are located across the street from Pure, a PUR. It is the taco restaurant, taco bar we talked about, and then also a boutique hotel for adults. So that's located across the street in a really great neighborhood. And talking to you more about Mangrove Bay, the concept of this property. So Mangrove Bay was really designed for folks who are looking for more modern construction, high-end luxury construction. They want to be in the Tres Cocos area, but they also want to be within a community, because the reality is single-family homes are great, but they're also a lot of work and a lot of upkeep. And so if you're not living here full-time or having a full-time caretaker on site, it's very difficult to maintain the property from afar and does tend to get fairly expensive. So when you're within a community, you do have the place, your home being looked after. You also have community amenities such as a pool, specifically here at Mangrove Bay, but you are able to at least distribute some of those costs that would typically just fall on one person for a single family home. Now, what I really like about this project is, well, there's actually a couple things. One is that each of them have their own boat slip under the home. And the rendering that you see on the right-hand side, this is really just an artistic rendering. It's quite liberal with how it looks there, but in reality, the homes go more vertical versus horizontal. So vertical out over the boat slip. And then there's also a carport there, so or golf cart, since we primarily drive golf carts here. So you have golf cart port or carport if you do end up having a cart, and then you have the boat slip right there. Even if you don't have a boat, you can always, bring in a kayak, or I know some folks like jet skis, you can always park that there underneath your home too. But it's a smaller complex. There's only 12 villas in total, 6 duplexes, 2 homes in each duplex, obviously. And it's quite a nice square footage. It's 1,650 square feet, 2 bed, 2.5 bath. And then I mentioned to you also that common area pool. So it's a really modern look. As you can see here, it's fairly difficult to find modern looking homes here. So if this is the style that you like, or if you're looking for something a little bit different, this could be the right project for you. Now, I know there's a lot of colors here on the floor plan, so I'm going to walk you through it, but these homes are elevated. As you can see here in this rendering, it is an elevated home. There's the boat slip, the carport underneath, and then once you get to that second story there, that's the primary living level. Now, I'm going to highlight to you some parts about the floor plan that I think are noteworthy. One of them is that covered porch. So you do have that outdoor space in Belize. We do tend to live outdoors because there is just a ton of sunshine here year round. And we do have the nicer, warmer weathers all throughout the year as well. And what I also like about this is that open floor plan. So it's the kitchen, the dining room, and then also the living room. Open floor plan really make the space feel even bigger. We move on to letter C, there are 2 full bathrooms. And then as we jump to letter D there, that's a half a bath. There's also a washer dryer hookup there. So you are able to have that in your home if you want. And then also E, this is the covered porch. So as you walk up the stairs, go to specifically to your room, this is all covered porches here as well. And there's the sliding glass door from the bedroom. So bedroom 1 and bedroom 2, you can decide ultimately which one would be the master, but it's a really nice ample living space here. So again, different aspects to this that I just haven't found in other properties here on the island, especially when we get to letter F, it's that boat slip. I just haven't found really any property that has a boat slip for each of the home. Now there are boat slips, but not for each of the homes there. So this is a huge amenity. And then mentioned to you the carport. And I do want to mention too that the boat and the vehicle are not included. I know sometimes in the States, if something's represented, it's seen as being included, but I just wanted to make that disclaimer that it is not going to be part of the purchase. So ground floor, and then you have that primary living floor there as well. To give you some perspective of the aerial view, there are 12 villas I mentioned to you in total. Villa number 1 is sold, so is the remaining 7 through 12. but Villa 2 through 6 are currently available, and they actually just came up fairly recently for sale. One of our clients did end up owning Villa number 1, and she was able to work out some really great arrangements with financing. So the developers have agreed to allow special financing for Villa number 2. Since this home is already under construction, going up, it is going vertical. I pass by the site every day, and it's been exciting to see how quickly the progress is happening. They are anticipating by the end of this year having that duplex be completed. But because there was already the agreement with the previous owner about Villa number 1, the developer has agreed to do the same financing terms for us for Villa number 2. And then if you are not necessarily interested in financing, but you are eyeing 3, 4, 5, 6, that would be a great option for you. But if you specifically are looking for really attractive financing, then I would recommend number 2 there. But I'm going to get a little bit deeper into this. So Villa number 1 mentioned to you sold. Villa number 2, you can see the duplex here. It's raised above that boat slip, and then the living is happening there on the second floor. So let me highlight some of the special features. And I'm actually going to jump down to the second bullet point first, because at the end of the day, when you're buying pre-construction, 110% of the project is based on the developer. And what I really like about the developer is he's seasoned. He's been here for a couple of decades. And he was also the original developer of Grand Caribe. Grand Caribe is one of the nicest resorts here on the island. It's very rare to find Grand Caribe properties that come up for sale. I know there was just a too bad that came up for about $580, no financing. So they really retained their value over the years. As it opened about 12, 13 years ago, but it's just really high-end, high-quality product. Coconuts Caribe, the first phase, they're finished, and then they're already starting on the second phase. And then Clearwater as well. This is a super high-end luxury project where properties start at about $800,000. But he's seasoned, he's been here, he's done this, he is on site every day, and he makes sure the project is moving forward. And so when we were looking and really understanding more about this property, this was really the selling feature for me. It was the person behind the property, behind the development. But what I also like about this property is the location. So it is close to town, as we talked about. You do have the sunset views, and it's also located there on the lagoon. So you don't have the seagrass that comes up. I know a lot of times people think they want to be on the Caribbean side, and yes, that's wonderful. You see the crystal clear, Caribbean waters, but we also have a seagrass season here in Belize, and seagrass can be fairly smelly. And so if you're on the reef side, if you're on the east side, you do tend to have seagrass influx coming to your beaches, and you're going to have a stench. It's just the reality of living in the Caribbean at this point. It's taking over the whole Caribbean. But if you don't want to have that seagrass issue, then I would highly recommend this side. In addition to that, on the lagoon side over here, you have really incredible sunset views. I'm going to show you some pictures in a moment of some of the area, but you also have the mangroves in front of you, and the land is also not surveyed in front of us. So we will have those views going forward as well. So nice to have that as well. So moving forward, talking about the slips, we talked about the carports. What I really like too about the construction is that he's really building everything with the oversized windows. So floor to ceiling windows, at oversized entry and interior doors, and then also 9-foot tall sliding glass doors. And it really just makes that space feel even larger. Then when you add in the concept of the open floor plan, oh, it feels and looks so beautiful. The rain showers, this is obviously specifically for the shower, quartz countertops, backup generators. Backup generators are important. Not that we get tons of power outages here. Typically they are planned, but just in case, if you're somebody who's working from home, this is probably something that would be important to you. So I mentioned to you that the property is under construction. We do go by fairly regularly to catch up on it and see all that's going on and send our client updates about her home, especially for those of you who don't live here, when you're buying something pre-construction or under construction, you do want to see progress. So you want to see as it's moving forward. And what I really like about this property is, like I said, the developer is on it. He's there every day. He's making sure that the project is moving forward, and they have the funds. I think that's really the big important part, is they're not dependent on you to buy it in order to move forward with it. So they do have the funds there. So what you're looking at here is a picture. This is Villa 1, and this will be Villa 2 over here. Again, it'll be elevated carport, and then the boat slips underneath, but elevated, and you can look out. This is as the sun was starting to go down. We still have a little bit more to go, but the sunsets here are just immaculate. They are the colorful oranges and pinks and purples, and it's just a really, really incredible view. So if you're somebody who's more of a sunset kind of person, grab that bottle of wine or grab some cold water, watch the sunset there from your balcony. So this one is a view from the water side. This is villa number 1, villa number 2 here, again, elevated, but having really beautiful views looking out. We were able to grab some video footage from the water the other day. So just to give you some perspective of what it looks like from the water. And in total, there are the 12 duplexes. And then as we continue on, you'll see closer number 2 and number 1. But again, 3, 4, 5, 6 are also available for purchase, but those ones do not have the 30-year financing. So it is an active construction site at this point, which is something that we always enjoy seeing. And then sunset right there from the balcony and be able to enjoy all the views that you have there in front of you. So just to give you that aerial view again, villa number 2 has that 30-year financing, 3, 4, 5, 6 also available, but that is just the standard payment plan. If you're new to Belize and looking at real estate here, I just want to highlight to you that typical financing terms in Belize, if the seller is willing to finance, is typically a 3 to 5 year term. Interest rates anywhere from 8 to 10%. It's really not common to have a 30-year financing. That's why I'm harping on it so much. I may sound like a broken record by the end of this, but I really just wanted to nail that down, because a lot of times people come to Belize, they expect to have the same sort of financing terms that they have at their banks in North America, but that's just not the reality. If a seller is going to finance, it's typically up to the seller to determine the terms, and they're not trying to finance something for 30 years, but the seller is willing to for villa number 2 specifically. So what the terms look like. So each villa here is $495 US. And it's 50% down, 30-year financing, 8% interest. So you're putting a little bit less than $250,000 down, monthly payments of $1,816 per month. And that starts once the home is complete, plus furniture and closing costs. They're working on a furniture package. It's not mandatory that you have a furniture package, but if you do want to not have to worry about getting one together, they will do that for you. Closing costs in Belize typically are 8% plus 2% attorney fees. So you will at least start working on that after the home is complete. But just bear in mind that your monthly payments, your mortgage is not going to start until the home is complete and keys are handed over to you. So we're anticipating for villa number 2 for that home to be complete by the end of this year, 2023. Then you'll be able to take ownership. And do note that you're able to live in it full time. You can come and go as you please. If you want to put it in the rental market, you can. There are no restrictions. You know, the owner is really letting the developer is really letting the owners decide what they want to do with their home. So if you're thinking about cash flow, for example, I think they would rent really well in the nightly rental market, also the long-term rental market, because it's in a really great location. It's something different, really something that's unique here to the island. What I'm going to recommend is that you reach out to us for a virtual tour sooner rather than later. There is a price increase coming. We spoke to the developer this morning, and he wanted to remind you that with the construction moving vertical, you know, that's a good sign to increase the prices. And so I don't have an exact date when that is coming, but I also know that once that one villa has the financing complete, or somebody decides to move forward with that, he's not going to do that long of a term. He'll probably do 5 years, but certainly not do a 30-year term. So please do reach out, info@lunarealtybelize.com, info@lunarealtybelize.com. As you can see, I am a big supporter of this project. I do believe in it personally. I believe in the location, believe in the developer, and the concept overall. So with that being said, I hope this was educational for you. I hope you learned a lot. I'd highly recommend, guys, just reaching out for that virtual tour. We've done that with a handful of our clients who are not able to physically get here soon, or would rather see something sooner rather than later. And we would love to do that with you. Info@LunaRealtyBelize, info@LunaRealtyBelize, and we'll get you those details. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining us live. Again, this is going up on YouTube, so feel free to reach out to us, email address right there as any questions pop up as you're listening. Bye, everyone. Thank you.